Greetings, everyone. This is Eric Hong, Executive Director of the Momiji Healthcare Society, speaking to you again about the COVID-19 pandemic. If you have been following reports about the COVID-19 coronavirus on the news, you will have been aware that by now, across Canada, around Ontario, and in Toronto, the pandemic has been with us for almost 3 months. Many people are still catching the COVID coronavirus infection. About 2/3 of those infected have recovered, while about 8% have unfortunately succumbed and died from it. And almost half of all those infected have been older persons 60 years of age or above. Although there are signs that it may be leveling out or even slowing down in places, no one is prepared to say that the pandemic is over yet. As a continuing effort to control spread of the pandemic, the Government of Ontario has just extended the state of emergency measures that are already in place for another 28 days, taking it to the end of the month of June. In the meantime, selected restrictions on commercial and social activities are gradually being lifted and will continue to be moderated on a region-by-region basis across the province. Places in which the number of COVID infections is low will be allowed to have selected services and businesses reopen before other places. Toronto Public Health is still reporting large numbers of people testing positive for COVID-19 daily. That being the case, it will be a long time yet before gatherings of more than 5 people will be allowed, and services, businesses, and activities that involve large numbers of people gathering in close quarters will resume. Momiji, located in Scarborough, is subject to these emergency measures restrictions. We ourselves are also committed to protecting our clients, tenants, and staff against risk of infection during the pandemic. As such, we are continuing to enforce social distancing rules and discouraging communal activities on site at Momiji. We are still asking that families of tenants in our seniors' residence avoid visiting if at all possible. With the weather warming up and newscasts every day reporting that some social activities are resuming in other places, continued restrictions in place at Momiji here are getting harder and harder to bear. The fact that we have been successful to date in keeping Momiji COVID-free should encourage us all to continue to do our part in keeping everyone safe. That means conscientious practice of social distancing. We, staff, tenants, and their families are all collectively responsible for everyone's well-being in the Momiji community. It is in that spirit that we ask everyone to be mindful of the potential impact that each of our decision and behavior has on our neighbor and fellow tenant. By not masking when we are on site at Momiji, not minimizing visiting at Momiji, not heeding the advice to not gather in groups of 5 or more, and not complying with mandatory screening before entering Momiji, we are increasing the risk of the COVID infection being brought into our midst. Momiji has been in contact with some service providers whose activities have been curtailed as the pandemic was declared. We are exploring how and if physiotherapy and foot care services might resume in a way that is compliant with social distancing requirements. We are aware there are tenants' families who are anxious to visit but are concerned about infection risks and our rules for social distancing. We welcome for you to be in touch with our support services staff and discuss how connectivity with and support for our seniors who reside at Momiji can be facilitated. The COVID pandemic is not a one-time occurrence. It will not go away after a while. There has been much speculation about what might constitute a new normal in our way of life in which COVID pandemic risk will be a recurrent challenge. As we continue to cope with the here and now challenges, we are also beginning to plan for how Momiji services will take place post-pandemic. Momiji is committed to respect, dignity, and independence for our seniors. We will consult with you as we plan and adapt to the new normal. If you have thoughts and ideas that you would like to share with us in these regards, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Thank you.